Hello, and welcome to the Eyeota Audience Data Session with ShareThis. Today, we are going to learn how the current climate is changing the way consumers browse, share, and buy right now and in the future. My name is Jane All, Demand Sales Executive at Eyeota, and joining me today is Matt Palmaccio, Director of Product Marketing, and Nick Bucci, Global Head of Data Sales and Partnerships at ShareThis. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Today, we are going to find out how COVID-19 is affecting consumers' online behavior, and we will discover the top verticals and interest categories in greater demand from online consumers, what consumers' searching and sharing activity is indicating about spend once restrictions are lifted, and how brands and marketers can use this real-time sharing insights data to connect with their most valuable audiences right now and in the future. First, before we start, a quick intro or perhaps a refresher of who Eyeota is as a company. Eyeota is an audience technology platform, and we work with marketers, data owners, and research companies to provide comprehensive and qualified audience data. Using a consistent and privacy-compliant approach, our audience technology platform transforms data into audiences for brands and marketers to identify and reach their best future customers. Globally, we provide over 25,000 audiences segments that consist of 4.5 billion monthly unique profiles delivered through our collaboration with leading publishers and data providers, including ShareThis. Now, it is my pleasure to pass it off to Matt and Nick, who will introduce us to the world of ShareThis.
Thanks, Jane. ShareThis is the largest independent source of online interest and intent data. Having our tools in the market for over a decade, we have built an expansive network compiling data from over 600 million global web pages. We then map over 18 billion monthly events to help us understand these human behaviors, which we categorize into target audiences. What is especially unique about our data is it's fully owned and observed by ShareThis. Because we are capturing these interactions from the open web to publishers in real time, our data represents a holistic picture of human behavior. This allows us to make sense of the customer's journey through today's volatile consumer landscape. And now Matt will share key findings into the COVID insights.
Thanks so much, Nick, and thanks again to the Eyeota folks for inviting us to participate in the webinar today. So as Nick mentioned, at ShareThis, we have a really unique ability to understand human behavior through the lens of online content consumption and engagement. Through what audiences are reading, clicking on, and sharing, all of these become signals of interest and intent that we can assign meaning to. Additionally, this data set and these signals are refreshed daily, which gives us an almost real-time look at online behavior and allows us to look at trends over time. So for this analysis, we looked at 3 distinct periods, and although the total time span is only 4 months long, the changes in online consumption over this time period are quite dramatic for reasons that we'll dive into today. So first, let's think back to early January. People in most places across the world, with the notable exception of China, had probably never even heard the term social distancing before. We were going to concerts and sporting events, kicking off the new year and making plans for travel and work. So this time provides a good timestamp for what we might call pre-pandemic time. Next, let's think back to the middle of March, which was about 6 weeks ago. At this time, large cities across the world, including London, New York, and San Francisco, were going through the unprecedented process of widespread closures of businesses and schools. Seemingly overnight, people may have found themselves working from home, homeschooling their children, and in isolation or quarantine. It was a time of major disruption and uncertainty. And then finally, let's think back to mid-April. While things are by no means normal by then, by mid-April, there seemed to be a new sense of normal, at least emerging, and some semblance of routine returning again. Even though our circumstances may be similar to March, we may still be in isolation and working from home. We're learning to adapt and we're starting to settle in. So let's look at mid-March compared to early January. When we look at this, it's not at all surprising to see that consumption and interest in health content, undoubtedly related to the pandemic, sharply increased compared to January, which was our pre-pandemic time. And even though we all spend vast amounts of time online, there's only so many hours in the day, and that increase in health content came at the expense of other consumer categories, everything from auto and home to technology and shopping. Now, let's look at April compared to March. you can see that even from March to April, interest in content related to health has already sharply declined. Now, there's still plenty to read and consume in the topic of health, given the constant flow of news and updates related to the pandemic. But nevertheless, we are already seeing engagement with health content decline, and in its place, increasing interest in all of those same categories that had so sharply fallen just a month ago in March. Importantly, what we're able to do with this data is make predictions about the categories that might be ready for a rebound in activity based on these very early signs of increasing consumer interest online. Now, we'll go through each of these categories and take a deeper look at what is driving these increases in consumer interest. So first, let's take a look at the home and garden category. In aggregate, this category is up 16% in April versus March based on online interest and engagement. There are likely several reasons for this. First, the simple fact that we are all just home now more. We're basically home all the time. So this time at home means we have more attention and time to focus on those projects that maybe we've been putting off or deprioritizing for a while. Work, travel, or other plans that have been canceled are freeing up time for us to focus on some of these home-related projects now. Additionally, with summer months arriving in many areas, it's the perfect time to get outdoors and work in the yard or garden. And of course, our homes are serving a much larger role in our lives now. Not only is it home, but it's maybe also an office or a school. Consumers are realizing they need to make improvements and adjustments to adapt their home to the new outsized roles that they play. So let's take a deeper look into some of the subcategories in the home and garden category that are actually driving and contributing to that growth. We see that home improvement in general is up 42% from April versus March. Content related to kitchen and dining is up 37%. And as we just mentioned, now that the summer months are coming, we see that yard and patio content is up 35%. Pools and spas content is up 15%. And also general interior decor and home appliances are also up. Next, let's take a look at technology. So as difficult as what we are going through right now is, imagine what it would be like without technology to help us through. It's technology that is helping to keep us connected to our families, friends, and colleagues. So it's not surprising that consumers may be thinking about upgrading their devices or looking for ideas on how to use technology to help with working and schooling from home. Finally, technology plays an important recreational role as well. Virtual versions of popular games like trivia, for example, are helping us to both stay connected and entertained. So let's also take a look at some of the subcategories within the technology vertical that's driving growth. We see that desktop computers are up 55% versus just a month ago. Once again, with people working from home, it could be that they are finding that they need to upgrade their computers. Game systems and consoles are up 43%. Once again, we know that people are spending more time at home. They may be isolated from their friends and family. They're turning to games for entertainment. Camera and photo equipment is up 31%. Laptops and notebooks are up 26%. Computer drives and storage are up 15%, which also could be related to that work from home need. And then gadgets and portable devices are up at 14%. The next category is auto, which is up 12%. This might be a surprising one because it might seem like buying a car right now is something that can surely wait. But the rising consumer interest in this category may be a leading indicator of quickly rebounding demand once shelter-in-place orders are lifted. There are several reasons likely at play here. First, there could be a whole group of buyers who had not even been considering a car before, but are now thinking of buying one thanks to fears and concerns about public transportation. If more people move out of cities, even temporarily, this could also lead to a demand for cars. Secondly, strong dealer incentives and low or 0% interest rates may be drawing attention and pulling consumers back in. And finally, as an added bonus, some of the lowest gas prices in years could even further entice buyers. So what's driving the growth in auto? We see that off-road vehicles are up 60%. These are the types of vehicles like four-wheelers that are more recreational vehicles. And again, that ties into a recurring theme around recreation and the fact that while people can't travel or they're stuck at home more, they're looking for ways to entertain and engage themselves. And so off-road vehicles is an interesting category that we see growing strongly. Similarly, auto accessories up 52% might be also related to that, just the fact that audiences have more time to spend on projects related to the home, but also perhaps their cars. Car shopping content is up 32%. Once again, we know there's a ton of great deals and incentives out there, and there's probably, obviously a high demand and interest in engaging with those deals. SUVs are up 29%. This is a a common category of auto that had been increasing even before this happened, and we see that demand for those types of vehicles is continuing. City and small cars is up 22%. And once again, that probably ties into the fact that consumers may be concerned about public transportation and they're looking for cars. And these could be consumers who may not have been considering a car before, didn't need one, but now may be interested in purchasing a car. Performance vehicles are up 10% as well. Once again, we know that gas prices are really low, and that could be helping to drive that trend. In the apparel category, we also see growth. In fact, the category is up 12% in just the last few weeks. And it's likely that in March, at a time when many people were just first starting to isolate and quarantine, it might have been a fun novelty to lounge around in pajamas and comfy clothes all day. But now, perhaps shoppers are ready for some retail therapy and are looking to spruce up their wardrobes once again. After all, people may be finding that even with work from home, they still want to maintain their professional appearance in front of clients and coworkers, even if it's only on video. We could also be seeing an increase resulting from job seekers who know that inevitably interviews will come back in some form. And of course, with the summer months arriving in many areas, it's the perfect time to buy new clothes for the change of season. So within the apparel category, we see increases across the board in a wide range of apparel. Children's clothes is up 27%. Obviously, again, with the change in season, that's likely driving that increase as parents look to outfit their children for the summer. Athletic apparel is up 25% as well, and we'll dive into that in the next category. But it's likely that consumers and audiences are still wanting to maintain that healthy lifestyle and fitness routines, and so they're looking for apparel to do that. Outerwear is up 25%, menswear up 20%, and interestingly, formal and business tire is up 19% from just a few weeks ago. Again, we know that as consumers are settling into routines, they still feel the need to maintain that professional appearance. They may be going and getting ready for job interviews, and they want to obviously, make sure that they look the part. Sleepwear is up 17%, and of course, this is probably not surprising as we know that people are lounging around at home more, and so they're looking for those comfy clothes to help them through this. Finally, in the beauty and fitness category, we also see an uptick in online engagement. The first and foremost reason, as I'm sure many people can relate to, is the simple fact that we're all having to take our grooming and beauty routines into our own hands in the absence of salons and barbershops. Also, with gyms and fitness centers closed, people are looking for ways to maintain their fitness routines at home. Not to mention, as we are staying home and cooking more, maybe even trying our hand at baking or making desserts, fitness might be a way to offset some of the effects of unhealthy eating, or perhaps indulging in one too many quarantinis. So within the beauty and fitness category, we see increases across the board. These are increases that are related to the fact that salons and other beauty-related businesses are closed. So skin and nail care content is up 24%. Hair care content is up 20%. Many people are having to cut their hair for the first time, so they're certainly looking for advice on how to do that. Makeup and cosmetics is up 18% as well. Weight loss is up 18%, which again could be tied into the fact that there's definitely a desire for maintaining that healthy lifestyle, even in the fact that we are stuck at home and we're not able to go to gyms. Also tying into the increase in fitness equipment, up 10%, as well as fitness instruction and training, which is also up 7%.
Thank you, Matt and Nick. This has been really helpful. ShareThis audience data is available globally with Eyeota. If you are interested in activating these audiences, these are the marketing and social platforms where you can purchase ShareThis segments. For more information about ShareThis, contact our audience specialist at datadesk@eyeota.com. And thank you so much for attending our audience data session. And we look forward to welcoming you back again soon.